Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel, and today I've got a new deck profile for you guys. I know it's been a while since I've done a deck profile, but this is the first one of 2023, so before I get into that, I want to thank everybody for all the support the channel's been getting lately. We recently hit 50 subscribers, which is amazing, so can't thank you enough, and with that, let's get into this deck profile, which is Wailord, featuring the new one from Silver Tempest. And so, what does this Wailord do? Well, it's notable for having 200 hit points, which is pretty big for a single prize Stage 1 Pokemon, and which makes it pretty hefty and tough to take out. And further aiding that is its ability jumbo-sized, which basically says this Pokemon takes 30 less damage from attacks after you apply weakness and resistance. So the goal here is to really absorb hits while doing some damage with our main attack, which is Special Wave. It's pretty costly, doing 120 for 3 water and a colorless energy, but if it has any special energy attached, Wailord that is, the attack does 120 more damage, so you're getting 240 damage out of the attack. So I'll get into what special energy we play in a bit, but to start off the deck profile, there's 3 of the Wailord from Silver Tempest. Also have 3 Wailmer. Doesn't really matter which one. There's one from Vivid Voltage that has less HP, but has less retreat cost and a slightly better attack. The ones from Silver Tempest have a bit more hit points to them. 3 of the Wailmer, 3 of the Wailord. And now I'm going to go into a little bit different the way I usually do deck profiles. I want to cover some of the other cards that support Wailord first. And starting with 4 V-Guard Energy. This is the special energy we play in this deck. And what V-Guard Energy does is it provides colorless energy while it's attached to a Pokemon. And the Pokemon this card is attached to takes 30 less damage from attacks from your opponent's Pokemon V. Though you can't apply it more than once, we only really need 1 attached to our Wailord at a time. And you kind of see where we're going with this deck. So the goal is to absorb hits while doing a consistent 240 damage per turn. And to further aid in the tanking abilities, we've got Pot Helmet, which is a card from Brilliant Stars that says, if the Pokemon this card is attached to doesn't have a rule box, it takes 30 less damage from your opponent's from attacks from your opponent's Pokemon. Sorry about that. And with V-Guard Energy, Pot Helmet, and Wailord's ability, you can easily take 90 less damage from attacks, which is pretty impressive for a single prize Pokemon. And so how do you get all those energies onto Wailord? Well, that's where Frostmoth comes in. We got the Sword and Shield Frostmoth with the Ice Dance ability, which states as often as you like during your turn, you may attach a water energy from your hand to one of your bench water Pokemon. So you'll build up your Wailmer/Wailord on the bench. And then once it's fully energized, you bring it into play. And so for the Frostmoth line, there's 2 of the Frostmoth and 3 copies of Snom. I'm using the one from Sword and Shield because it has more hit points. I think the other one has an attack that allows you to find water energy from the deck, but it has less hit points, so I don't want to use that one. Other supporting Pokemon, Radiant Greninja. Of course, this is one of the best Radiant Pokemon out there. With this Concealed Cards ability, discard an energy from your hand to draw 2 cards. Pretty useful. Also has a decent attack in Moonlight Shuriken. It allows you to discard 2 energy from it to deal 90 damage to 2 of your opponent's Pokemon. Nice little backup attacker as well, but it's mostly there for the card draw. Another good support Pokemon is Manaphy, with its Wave Veil ability, allowing you to prevent damage done to your bench Pokemon by attacks from your opponent's Pokemon. Can be pretty handy. Finally, for the Pokemon, 2 of the Bibarel from Brilliant Stars, as well as 2 Bidoof. The barrel's mainly used for its ability to also draw cards with Industrious Incisors. It allows you to once per turn draw cards until you have 5 cards in your hand. Pretty useful there. So that's all for the Pokemon as well as some of the support card. Let's get into the rest of the trainers and energy. Starting with the supporters, we got 3 Professor's Research. Very nice supporter to have in pretty much any deck you build. Allows you to draw extra cards, refresh your hand. Very nice. Another new card from Silver Tempest, we've got Serena. This is a nice little flexible card that allows you to either choose one of the following. You can discard up to 3 cards from your hand. Then if you do, draw cards until you have 5 in your hand. Or you get to switch one of your opponent's benched Pokemon V with their active Pokemon. So it's gusting or card draw depending on when you need it. Also worth noting, you do have to discard at least 1 card if you're going to draw cards with Serena. Worth mentioning. And since this is a water deck, gotta have some copies of Nessa. I've got 2 in this deck. It allows you to put up to 4 in any combination of water Pokemon and water energy from your discard pile into your hand. Very useful to have. Gets your attacker, gets a Wailord line back out of the discard pile, and some energy to get things going right again. Final supporter, 3 copies of Marnie. I know it's an annoying card to go up against, but it's something you gotta have. Being able to disrupt your opponent's hand at any time is quite useful to have. And now for some of the non-supporter cards, we got items. What deck would be complete without 4 copies of Quick Ball? You just discard a card and you get any basic Pokemon out of your deck. Very useful. Another piece of Pokemon Search, we got 4 copies of Ultra Ball. It has a bit more of a discard cost than Quick Ball, but this allows you to get any Pokemon, not just the basics. 2 Capacious Bucket as well, since we're playing with water Pokemon and water energy. It's nice to be able to just pull 2 water energy out of the deck at any time. So you can immediately Ice Dance them onto a Wailord with Frostmoth. And then we have kind of a weird thing that I thought I would try in this deck. I'm not sure how useful it is. It's 4 copies of Cross Switcher. This is an interesting card that you have to play 2 copies of it at once, but it allows you to switch one of your opponent's bench Pokemon with their active Pokemon. And if you do, you have to switch your active Pokemon with one of your bench Pokemon. So kind of my thinking with this is you power up your Wailord on the bench, and then you play your 2 copies of Cross Switcher once Wailord's fully powered up, even with the 1 special energy. So you bring something up that Wailord's 240 damage attack can easily knock out, and then you bring Wailord into play to knock it out. That's kind of what I was thinking. It hasn't really worked out for me in the way that I wanted to. May take them out in the future, I'm not sure. I've also got some air balloons. This is a more commonly seen Pokemon tool that reduces retreat costs. Very handy to have in pretty much any deck. Similar, we've got 2 Training Court as the main stadium card. Any deck that plays a lot of basic energy, this is a very nice card to have. And speaking of basic energy, we've got 9 water energy to round out the deck. And that's going to do it for this deck profile. Thank you for watching. I know it's been a while again since I've done a deck profile, but I hope to have more in the coming weeks. And until then, subscribe to the channel if you don't want to miss any other deck profiles I do, and comment down below what you would change with this deck, or do you like it as is? Let me know. Thank you once again for watching, and until next time, good luck, have fun, and keep well.